SEC turned the page. Another big game, big physical, tough team in Tennessee. They do a great job on the offensive glass, setting a lot more ball screens this year, not running quite the same motion that they've run in the past. They're shooting the ball well. Vescovi's shooting it well. Powell, transfer from Auburn. Josiah James is playing well. Point guard plays really good, obviously with Chandler and Ziegler. And so they've got Fulkerson, who's commentator said he's almost 25. He's older than 186 players in the NBA. So he's just a older veteran guy, 13. I'm going to butcher his name if I pronounce it, but he's tremendous. He's making 1.5 threes a game. He's shooting it well. So their defense is as good as it's ever been, and the the offense they've changed it up a little bit, and they're shooting more threes and playing a little bit more free flowing, and they still got their same DNA just in terms of being very, very physical and trying to punk you on the offensive glass. So it'll be a big challenge for us turn around after Tuesday night.
What exactly makes their defense so good?
I mean, just positionally, they do a good job keeping the ball in front. They don't let you get by them on the drive, so they stay out of rotation. And then when you stay out of rotation, you can pretty much stay home. And they change their ball screen coverages up. They like to ice a lot, but they'll hedge, they'll shadow, they'll do a bunch of different stuff on the ball screens. So you can't just prepare for one different thing. You got to have packages in for multiple ball screen coverages. So they mix it up. But the main thing is no matter what they're doing, they stay in front of the ball. They don't get put in rotation very easily, which allows them to stay home and also rebound well.
What are y'all guys going to have to do offensively to score points?
I mean, we're going to have to move the ball. We're going to have to attack some of the closeouts. We got to create some long closeouts and attack long closeouts. That's a lot easier said than done. Sounds good sitting up here, but we've got to be able to do that.
Gaines had a few big plays offensively against Kentucky, and you spoke over the holidays. You were working on fixing his jump shot. Have you seen his confidence grow in the last couple of weeks?
I think so. He's been more disciplined. He's been working hard. He's been coming in. He's been getting his work in and doing what he needs to do. And I think that's led to a good game against Kentucky. And hopefully this is something that we can build off of, and he can build off of.
Kennedy Chandler, you kind of talked about him. Just describe his game and just what makes him such a good
guard. He's tremendous driving the ball. He's a blur, with the ball. He's making threes about 34-35%. He can make them off the bounce, so you got to be on point with your ball screen coverage. But him and Ziegler both really push that ball in transition. They haven't really pushed the ball in transition very hard in the past, and those guys really push it.
And then Tari through 2 SEC games now. Just evaluate where's he at? What have you seen from him through 2 games?
I mean, Tari's been great. He's done a really good job so far, and he's going to continue to do a good job. He's been unbelievably consistent, but his approach has been unbelievably consistent, and so we just got to keep plugging away.
Against Kentucky, you saw Efton hit a pretty big three. He's hit a few of them throughout the year. Do you want that to be a bigger part of his game moving forward?
Well, it's something that he can certainly make. It's a shot he can certainly make. It's a shot we don't mind him. It's a shot we don't mind him taking. So I'm not saying we want it to be a huge focal point of what we do, but it's certainly something that can stretch the defense and something that gives you a little bit of pause if you're preparing for us.
And sticking with the threes, Tennessee shoots about 30 a game. How big of an emphasis are you placing on stopping them on the perimeter?
Well, I mean, they shoot a bunch of them. They're shooting them. They're shooting them pretty well, and so we got to buckle down defensively and do a good job on that 3-point line.
Where have you seen the biggest improvement in Darius's defensive game? You guys aren't asking him to cover those 7-footers anymore. Just where do you think he's improved the most on defense?
Well, I think he's just able to. It's a little more natural position for him, a little more natural movement for him, and so I think he's been, he's just a little bit more comfortable with what he's doing. And look, I mean, The other side of it is our help side's better, our gap protection's better. Like, you're not as exposed because we've got the other guys. We've got 5 guys working, together, and we got 5 guys moving together. So the other guys aren't, you're not as exposed because you got help. Whereas in the past, it's just kind of been one-on-one, and kind of whatever happened. Usually wasn't very good, but whatever happened.
You played Tennessee quite a bit since you've been here. Does Rick Barnes change his defense a lot, or is it basically?
I think, I think Coach Barnes and then Coach Schwartz, their assistant, he does a great job. I think he's kind of like the defensive coordinator for him. He's been with them the whole time. He was with Frank Haith at Miami. He's been a couple spots, but their basic package is going to be the same. They're going to be tough. They're going to be physical. They're going to get back and not give you anything easy in transition. They're going to try to limit you to one shot. Their basic stuff's the same. They certainly change it up based on their personnel a little bit, but their basic package is the same.
Why did this team get so good defensively, and your past teams really kind of weren't? Was it because you recruited guys more defensive minded? Did you see them in recruiting? I feel like this guy can play defense. What was the elements that kind of led to this?
Look, we've got really good defensive personnel. We got guys that want to play both ends of the court. We got guys that are excited about playing both ends of the court. And when you do that, you got a chance to have a good defense. The scheme we're running this year is not all that different from what we did last year. There are a few differences, but it's pretty similar. You got to give our players a ton of credit.
Considering how hectic the ending of the Kentucky game was, how much have you guys talked about doing a better job closing out games?
Oh, we went over it yesterday for a long time, not putting ourselves in that position. We'd have been sick if we hadn't picked some of those passes off and things had gone a different way with the way things went down at the end. So we certainly discussed that and talked about that for a long time yesterday.